I still remember the day we learned that humans don't fight wars the way we do. My name is Krell, and I was there when Commander Briggs taught us that lesson. See, we thought we had him cornered. One human, one, against 17,000 Vraxian shock troops, 400 gunships, and enough firepower to crack a moon. The odds were so absurd that our tacticians actually laughed when they saw the battlefield scans. I mean seriously laughed. High Command even streamed it across 6 systems as entertainment. But Briggs, he just stood there, in that bombed-out starport, arms crossed, waiting, not hiding, not running, waiting. Why isn't he surrendering? My squad leader Torvin asked. We were positioned on the ridge overlooking the valley where Briggs had made his stand. The human's combat armor was dented, scorched, and missing half its plating. His rifle looked like it had been through a supernova. But there he was, smiling, actually smiling. Maybe he's broken mentally, I suggested, checking my scanner again. Psychological collapse from stress. Then why did he send out that transmission? Torvin pulled up the message on his display. It was short, disturbingly short. To all nearby vessels, stations and recording drones, I am Commander Marcus Briggs of the Terran Defense Coalition. Coordinates attached. You are invited to observe. Weapons hot in 30 minutes. Attendance optional. Survival not guaranteed. What kind of lunatic invites people to watch him die? Turned out about 67 ships showed up. Traders, reporters, even a couple of pleasure cruisers. They hung back at a safe distance, sensors recording everything. Our commanders didn't care. Honestly, they encouraged it. The propaganda value of broadcasting human defeat across the galaxy, priceless. General Zarthos himself addressed the fleet. Let them watch. Let every species see what happens when primitives challenge the Vraxian Empire. His voice boomed across open channels. Let this human's death become legend, a warning. Briggs heard every word. I know because he started laughing. Not nervous laughter, not desperate laughter. The kind of laugh you make when someone tells a joke and doesn't realize they're the punchline. 30 seconds, Torvin counted down. All units report ready. Air support locked. Artillery zeroed. 20 seconds. Briggs knelt down, drew something in the dust with his finger. From our position, I couldn't see what. 10 seconds. He stood up, cracked his neck, and checked his rifle's power cell. Almost empty. Maybe enough for 40 shots. Against 17,000 of us. 5 seconds. The human raised his rifle and fired, but not at us. The shot went straight up, into the sky, trailing a bright phosphorescent flare. It burst into brilliant red light that painted the entire valley crimson. What's he doing? I whispered. Then Briggs spoke. Not over comms. Out loud. Knowing our audio sensors would pick it up. Knowing everyone watching would hear. I am so tired, so very, very tired, of being merciful. Merciful? The human pulled something from his belt. It looked like a small cylinder. Black. Unremarkable. He pressed a button on its side, and the sky caught fire. I don't mean metaphorically. I mean the atmosphere itself ignited in a grid pattern above us. Geometric lines of plasma forming faster than sensors could track. Hundreds of them. Thousands. Each intersection point marking something our scanners suddenly detected. Oh no. Oh no 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 no. Orbital defense platforms. Torvin screamed. How many? How many? The tactical display went insane trying to count them. They'd been there the whole time, cloaked, hidden in geosynchronous orbit, directly above us. Not Vraxian tech. Not anything we recognized. Human stealth systems that made our sensors look like children's toys. 12,000 platforms. Each one carrying enough munitions to level a city. All aimed down. At us. Briggs tapped his cylinder again. The platforms waited, just hung there, weapons hot, targeting lasers painting 17,000 individual Vraxian soldiers in red dots. He could have activated them at any time. I realized, my voice shaking. Before we even arrived, he could have wiped us out before we landed. That's when it hit me. All of it. the transmission, the invitation, the witnesses. This wasn't a battle. This was a statement. Briggs walked forward, rifle lowered, past the first line of our frozen troops. Nobody fired. Nobody moved. We just stared. He stopped in the middle of the valley, standing in that open space we'd thought was a killing ground for him. Turned out, we had it backwards. I spent 6 months asking for reinforcements, Briggs said, his voice carrying in the silence. 6 months requesting backup while your fleets burned civilian stations. 6 months watching you post victory after victory because we were too spread thin to stop you. He raised the cylinder, and my superiors said no. Too expensive, they said. Too risky. Better to abandon the outer colonies than commit resources. His laugh was bitter now, dark. So I followed orders. I evacuated who I could. I retreated. I watched populations die because I wasn't authorized to do what needed doing. The human's finger hovered over the cylinder's trigger. But funny thing about watching friends burn alive in station corridors, it clarifies your priorities. Makes you wonder why you're still following orders from people who value trade routes more than lives. He's gone rogue, Torvin whispered. He's not here on official orders. Briggs heard that somehow, maybe enhanced audio in his armor. He smiled wider. Oh, I'm very rogue, which means I don't have to worry about diplomatic incidents anymore. Don't have to file reports, don't have to justify ammunition expenditure. He looked up at the watching ships. But I do believe in accountability, in transparency, in making sure everyone knows exactly what happens next. The cylinder beeped. So I invited you all here to witness something important. Not my death, General Zarthos. Briggs stared directly at the flagship hovering 3 kilometers away. Your education. Fire, fire, everything. Zarthos screamed. Too late. Briggs pressed the button. The platforms fired. Not all at once. That would have been mercy. No, Briggs triggered them in sequence, one every half second, so we could watch each impact, count each explosion, feel each shockwave ripple through our ranks like a slow-motion execution. The first strike vaporized our forward artillery battalion. 300 soldiers and 26 heavy cannons turned to superheated plasma in a fraction of a heartbeat. The shockwave knocked me flat on my back, my armor's compensators screaming warnings. The second strike took out our left flank, 400 more gone. Third strike, right flank, another 400. Briggs just stood there, cylinder in hand, finger on the button like he was conducting an orchestra. And we ran. Oh, how we ran. 17,000 elite Vraxian shock troops, veterans of 30 campaigns, scattering like prey animals. Because that's what we were. Prey. Retreat. Full retreat. Zarthos ordered, his voice cracking. The flagship's engines flared, preparing to jump. Briggs tapped his cylinder twice. 6 platforms retargeted, locked onto the flagship. The great General Zarthos, conqueror of the Meridian cluster, froze his ship mid-escape. Just stopped. Because he finally understood what I'd already figured out. The human wasn't trying to kill us all. If he wanted that, we'd already be dead. No, this was something worse. This was teaching. General, Briggs called out. His voice amplified across every frequency. You said my death would become legend. A warning. He laughed again, that same dark, bitter sound. Well, you got half of it right. Another platform fired. This one hit our command bunker, 3 kilometers behind the front line. The bunker we'd thought was safely out of range. The bunker where our tactical staff had been coordinating the assault from comfortable chairs. Gone. Lesson 1, Briggs announced, walking slowly through the chaos, stepping over scattered armor pieces and scorched earth. Humans, remember, we don't forget faces. We don't forget names. We especially don't forget who killed our civilians while we were ordered to stand down. He pulled up a holographic display from his wrist computer. Names. Hundreds of them. Thousands. All Vraxian officers. Station Prometheus. 32,000 civilians. Your third fleet. I have the command logs. He swiped. Colony Harper 7. 18,000. Your 9th division. Also logged. Another swipe. Medical Station Sanctuary. 4,000 doctors, nurses, patients. You bombed a hospital, General. That one was you personally. Zarthos said nothing. What could he say? So I made a list. Checked it twice. Found out who's been naughty. Briggs smiled without humor. Turns out, pretty much all of you. This is a war crime, Zarthos finally shouted. You're broadcasting your own violations of galactic law. Oh, I'm counting on it. Briggs gestured to the watching ships. That's why they're here, witnesses. Because here's lesson 2, General. Humans don't just remember. We document. We record. We make absolutely certain that when we do something terrible, everyone knows exactly why we did it. He pressed the cylinder again. 3 platforms fired simultaneously. Our gunship wing. 400 ships. The pride of our air superiority doctrine. Gone in 3 explosions that painted the sky orange and red and screaming white. I could have done this 6 months ago, Briggs continued, his voice steady despite the apocalypse he was conducting. Could have activated these platforms the day your fleets entered this sector, but I didn't know why. Silence. Nobody answered. We were too busy trying not to die. Because I'm a soldier. I follow orders. I believe in chains of command, rules of engagement, civilized warfare. His expression darkened. I believed in those things. Past tense. Another strike. Our supply depot. But you spent 6 months teaching me something. General, you taught me that civilized warfare only works when both sides are civilized. That rules only matter when everyone follows them. That mercy is just weakness wearing a fancy name. Strike. Our communications array. So thank you. Truly. Thank you for the education. Briggs looked up at the watching ships again. And thank you all for bearing witness, because I want the galaxy to see this. I want every species out there to understand something crucial. He raised the cylinder high. Humanity has been playing nice. We've been following rules. We've been the reasonable ones at the negotiation table, the patient ones in the council chambers. We've been so very, very restrained. His finger hovered over the trigger. 11,000 platforms still active. 11,000 guns still loaded and aimed. At the remaining 14,000 Vraxian soldiers who couldn't run because their ships were gone and their communications were dead. At General Zarthos in his flagship that couldn't jump without being instantly destroyed. At me lying in the dust wondering if the next shot had my name on it. But restraint has limits, Briggs said quietly. So quietly his voice shouldn't have carried across the valley, but somehow it did. Maybe his armor, maybe fear making us listen harder. Patience has edges. And you found them both. Please. General Zarthos transmitted the word please. We surrender. Full unconditional surrender. Just stop. Oh, I'll stop, Briggs agreed. But first lesson 3. The platforms didn't fire. Instead they rotated. All 11,000 of them turned their weapons away from us, aimed at empty sky and powered down. We stared. Confused, terrified, waiting for the trick. There was no trick. Briggs dropped the cylinder on the ground and crushed it under his boot. Lesson 3, he said, looking directly at Zarthos. Humans could exterminate you. Right now. Today. We have the weapons. We have the positions. We have every justified reason after what you've done. He turned to face the witness ships. But we won't. Because that would make us you. And we're not you. We're better than that. His voice hardened. We're better than that while still being fully capable of annihilating you if you ever make us prove it again. Briggs picked up his rifle, checked the power cell, and started walking toward our lines. Toward us. Toward 14,000 armed soldiers, who technically still outnumbered him thousands to one. Not one of us raised a weapon. Go home, he told us as he passed. Tell your families you survived because a human chose mercy when he didn't have to. Tell your commanders that the only reason your empire still exists is because one soldier decided that becoming a monster to fight monsters wasn't worth it. He stopped, turned back. And tell them this. Tell them exactly this. His eyes swept across every camera, every recorder, every witness ship. The next time you attack human civilians, the next time you think we're too soft, too restrained, too civilized to do what needs doing, remember Commander Marcus Briggs. Remember this valley. Remember that we choose to be merciful. The human's smile turned absolutely cold. Remember that it's a choice, and choices can change. Then he walked away, just walked away, past our army, past our ships, into the ruins of the starport, where he apparently had a shuttle waiting. He left, and we let him. Because what else could we do? That was 8 cycles ago. The war ended 3 days after the footage hit every news network in known space. Unconditional Vraxian surrender. Full reparations. War crime tribunals. General Zarthos hanged himself before the trial. Me? I got promoted. Medals, commendations, official honors for surviving the Battle of Witness Valley. I wake up screaming most nights. Because I learned the lesson Briggs wanted us to learn. I learned it perfectly. Humans aren't dangerous because they're strong. They're dangerous because they're kind. And kindness? Kindness is a limited resource that runs out when you push hard enough. I pray to every god in every pantheon that nobody is ever stupid enough to push them that hard again. Because if Commander Marcus Briggs represents human restraint, I really don't want to meet human commitment.